Have you ever heard of a lumberjack so massive that his sneeze could knock over an entire forest? Well, get ready to meet the one and only Paul Bunyan, the colossal hero of American folklore. This isn't just some tall tale. This is the story of the man who could clear a whole forest before breakfast and still have time for a stack of pancakes the size of wagon wheels. Legend says Paul was born in Maine, and right from the start he was anything but ordinary. As a baby, one clap of his hands shattered his cradle. When he took his first steps, his footprints were so deep they filled with water and became lakes. His poor parents had to milk entire herds of cows just to fill his baby bottle. As Paul grew, so did his appetite for adventure, and flapjacks, of course. He quickly became the greatest lumberjack the world had ever seen, but even a giant as mighty as Paul needed a friend. One freezing winter morning, after the biggest snowstorm anyone could remember, he heard a strange, faint moo echoing through the silent woods. There, buried in a massive snowbank, was a tiny, shivering calf, and it was bright blue. Paul took one look, scooped him up, and said, "Well, ain't you a sight for sore eyes?" He nursed the little guy back to health, and soon that calf grew into a magnificent, massive ox. Paul named him Babe, and together, they were an unstoppable team. Whenever Paul bellowed timber, mountains trembled. Babe was right there beside him, hauling enormous logs across rivers, flattening land to create roads, and even, as the story goes, straightening out the winding Mississippi River just by pulling on it with a chain. And when the winters got too long and snowy, Babe would just wag his tail and clear the snow off half of Minnesota. But Paul wasn't just about brute strength, he was incredibly clever too. He's credited with inventing the logging camp, creating the tradition of pancake breakfasts, and inspiring America's rugged frontier spirit. Everywhere he roamed, he left his mark on the landscape, shaping the lakes, forests, and towns we see today with his legendary footprints. Eventually, as the forest grew quieter and machines began to replace axes, Paul and Babe knew their work was done. They walked off together into the great northern woods, disappearing into the mist. But some folks say that when you hear thunder rolling in the distance, that's just Paul Bunyan, still up there chopping trees. And when the sky flashes a brilliant blue, that's just Babe, running across the clouds. Because legends like Paul Bunyan and Babe the Blue Ox never really fade away. They just rest, waiting for their next grand adventure. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this piece of American folklore, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more legendary stories. See you next time.